Hello everyone. So today I want to talk to you about our two options for our Trying to Conceive Tuesday. Basically there's two main roads that Paul and I are thinking of going on. One of them is to have a vasectomy reversal, and the other is to have ICSI. ICSI is the other name for it. Basically, we are not going to go through this until we get married, because for us we've always decided that we want to be married first before we have children, because it's just the right thing for us, because we feel like that's something that we would want our children to have, is two married parents before being born. I know that other people are quite happy to have their children at their wedding and things like this, and that's fine for them, but it's not something that we've personally wanted to do. So that's just to answer a question that I always get asked, is how soon, why is it you're waiting? So that's the reason for that. We have been to two clinics. The first clinic is where we will have ICSI. So if we go down the ICSI route, the clinic that we will go through, basically ICSI is where they take sperm from the testes directly out, and then they insert it directly into the egg. That's what ICSI is. Obviously it's not as straightforward as that. There's lots of complications. For example, it would mean that I would have to inject myself twice a day for 2 weeks beforehand. Then we would go through scans so that they can see how many follicles are being matured and how many eggs there are in those follicles. We would then have an egg collection. Then Paul's sperm will be injected into those eggs. Then the eggs are assessed over 5 days. It's usually 5 days. And then the best graded ones, we would have a choice to have 1 or 2 put back in, and the others would be frozen. Part of that process, I would be taking part in an egg sharing scheme. I'm going to discuss egg sharing and the reasons why I want to do that in another separate blog. So basically half of the eggs of whatever it is that I have that are collected, half of those will go to another lady. So that's with one clinic. With the other clinic is for a vasectomy reversal. Basically the woman that Paul was married to before had some problems after being pregnant, and he had his vasectomy about 22 years ago. For her, she had the medical problems, but it was decided between them that he would be the one to have the procedure done, because apparently it was more simple back then for a man to have the procedure done. So that's why he decided to do that for her. Obviously we didn't know that we would get together. He didn't know that he'd be with anybody else or want to have more children. He's always wanted more children, but it was a danger for her, unfortunately. So that's why he had a vasectomy, which is basically where they cut the tube that supplies the sperm so that the sperm dies in the tube, basically, so it doesn't actually come out. So what a vasectomy reversal is basically sewing it all back together and making it all well again. But it's not always successful. We have to do a lot of research into the clinic that we choose to use, purely because different success rates for different circumstances. We're looking at a couple of clinics that do microsurgery, which is basically where they attach all the different layers individually. A lot of them say that he has a 60% chance of it going back properly, and others say that it's less. One, because of his age; two, because of the amount of years since he's had his vasectomy done. So yeah, we're sort of hoping to go for that route first, really. The reason for that is that there are time restrictions, and I'm not sure whether there's how many times you can do it restrictions on egg sharing, and we've always wanted a family, quite a big family, probably, I don't know, well, we don't know how many children, but definitely more than 2. So yeah, we we want to have that. I've always thought only children, it's a bit tragic that they're all by themselves. I know that sometimes it's all that a family can have is one child, and they're just grateful for that, but personally I enjoyed having siblings, so I think that I would like my children to have siblings. So we're going to go for the reversal route first, because obviously then we would, if it worked, we would be able to have as many children whenever we wanted to have them. Whereas with the ICSI, it's expensive and I think it's slightly restricted. So yeah, that's the hope, but obviously we'll keep you updated. Like I said, we won't be taking any action upon that yet because we're not married. So yeah, it's been a difficult journey really, because both of us wanted to have children. Even though we started off as friends, we were really good friends, so we used to talk about loads of stuff like that. And he'd always said that he's got 3 kids, but he'd always wanted more than 3. But obviously the situation didn't permit that. So yeah, that's something that we've got in common. I've always wanted to be a mum. I've always wanted to have several children, and you know, people have asked me before, had I always imagined it from being a little girl? And yes, I have. Some women really want other things in life, but I have just always wanted to be a mum, really. So yeah, that's the plan, to do that after we're married. Just because I think it's a really important part of life to bring up new life, and it must be just so amazing to actually see someone else that's part of you and part of your partner or your fiance or whoever. And I just think that is phenomenal, how the human body can actually create another little human. The thought of birth scares me to death, but still, we'll get to that in another blog at another time. But yeah, that's our story. Either go across to ICSI or vasectomy reversal. If you've got any questions, please leave a comment below. I'll also do a blog post putting some more information on about the process and the pictures in more detail, probably some information about the 2 clinics as well. And that's all. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.